Hi, this is Joanne. I am doing a flip through and showing you some of how I made this journal. The name of this journal is Jessica's Rose. We're going to be talking about Jessica, my daughter, who is in heaven. 2016, she was 27 years old, and she was pregnant 33 weeks with her baby Ariel Sierra. They went to heaven. So throughout this journal, I'll be talking and making references to her as we go through making it and even the flip through. So please join me and let's get started. So I started off with a paper bag that I got from a store. So I'm inking the insides of the flap there, being careful not to glue the whole thing together, which I have done at times. I've gotten a little carried away with the glue. And then inking that inner. I don't have a round hole punch. I have a lot of supplies because I purchased a lot of them and it was really fun doing that, but that's not one that I have picked up yet. So inking that and then gluing it down to the inner part of the cover. I inked it, I made a pocket, I decided to make 2 pockets. I wasn't sure where I was going to put the second pocket, but I decided to do it right inside the cover. So I'm gluing it, and I'm going for the first time making pockets right on the inside of the book. And I'm using PVA glue here, and this process worked out really well. It glued nicely for me and it dried very quickly. So I've made my decision on my pages. I've got about 17 here and I'm not sure if I'm going to add more. I tend to add as I go along. I've enjoyed picking out the pages, and I put some lace on the edge and did a little bit of sewing. As I review my pages, I realize that as I'm viewing my pages, use some inking. So I'll ink as I go along, and I tend to take my pages out and look at them and rearrange them and just don't make a final decision until I actually put the binding needle through and bind them up. It's funny how I just keep changing my mind with the direction. But I did decide that this is the center page. It's a thick page out of a book, so it works great. And there's a rose which goes along with Jessica's rose theme. I have to make sure my pages are going in the right direction, since I tend to play around with the pages a lot when I'm embellishing them and sewing them. So sometimes I think I'm going in one direction and then I end up going in another. So that's part of journaling though, right? I mean, just keep playing with the pages, because that's what we like to do. We like to look at the colors and look at the pages. I like that body form thing there. I'm deciding as I go along what to do with this page. Do I want to add more to it? And eventually, yeah, I do add more. I love this color. I put some lace on it. Took it over to my sewing machine and put some lace on the edge. And the mermaid I glued down, and then glued a little bit of a ribbon and a sentiment in there. And That's special because Jessica called her baby her Little Mermaid. So that's always important when I think about her. And we love the darker shade of pink, which is maroon in my eyes. So I did some coffee tea dyed paper, threw that in there. This is all part of my signature. There's only one signature. I just like to go through them and then decide afterwards what I'm going to be putting on them. So this is a glance for you to see what I'm working with. So it's time now to reconstruct. So I'm not going to give away too much of what I did, but I'm going to bring you along for some of the process with the pages that I made. So I'm using a couple of YouTubers' idea to use the lining of different packaging to protect my table while I glue. So Jessica's baby's name was Ariel Sierra. So of course I have to incorporate Ariel in the journal. So I had this idea with tissue paper in this frame and her name. So I cut out the letters from a magazine and glued them with Mod Podge on this tissue paper, this gold tissue paper that was left over from Thanksgiving flowers that my daughter had just given me. I wrinkled it a little bit more than it already was wrinkled. And then decided I would put it on the family page that I had sewn down. So not sure what I would do with this. I took the frame that had some glue. Right? So let's try to keep in frame. I just moved the camera around. What if we did something like that? And then I have to also consider, because I'm putting it in this frame, how it's going to look. Because then I could put the frame sideways. And then I could have a little bit of that green peeking out. I don't know what's going to happen here, but let's give it a try. Okay, we're going to take little pieces of that leaf, tear them, and then put it on top of Ariel's name. Thin out my Mod Podge a little bit. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, I think that's too thin. Let me grab a paper towel and just soak up my brush onto the paper towel and start with the Mod Podge again because I don't like how thin that is. So I want to get this nice and thick with Mod Podge because too thin, and those little pieces that I'm trying to layer over top of the tissue, they're just coming off. So I want it to go right next to family on that page, on the left side of the page. That's where Ariel's name is going to go. So I'm tearing this off gently, and then I'm going to let this dry so that I can glue it down later. But it's a little shiny for me. It's silver. So I'm going to ink it up a little bit with this antique linen. And then clean up this mess. And there we have Ariel's name, all nice and dried. Now let's see if we're going to use this. This is some tulle, some rose-colored tulle. So we're going to audition this. The back looks like it's holding up pretty well. But I still have to be gentle because it's paper. I mean, I could have put cardboard on the back of it, but I didn't think of that until just now. And I'm doing a voiceover, so don't like the tulle on top of there because it hides too much. So let's see. A piece of lace under there? I don't like that. Need something else. Yeah, it's too much. It's too thick. Too pink. Did I say that? I love pink. I think we're going to have to do some collaging here. Cut this paper out with the music on it. That's good. Jessica played the piano, so that kind of fits in really well. And I kind of like that, but I feel like it needs more. Yeah, it does need more. But that's a good beginning. So let's get that glued down, because it's a good start to collaging. That tissue, I really like that tissue. I'm not sure if it's going to go here though. You know, you have to audition, right? You have to move things around and see how you like them. And I'm not sure that I'm liking what I'm seeing. Okay, so what we'll do is, how about this? We get the pink, and we got a ribbon, and we get a little cluster of flowers. I'm going to glue them with my clear gel tacky glue. Let's get the cluster of flowers glued down. In any old way. Just as long as they're hitting on the glue. There. I'm so excited. This is so pretty. I love it. I don't know, just pink just makes me so happy. Pink, pink. I just love pink. I don't know how anybody can not like pink. You know, this is a little wrinkly, but that's okay, because this is a antiqued journal, right? That's what we're going for. Okay, so I'm going to take this really awesome doily, and I'm going to cut it. Okay, here goes. I don't want to, but I have to, because it has to go on here. It was just sitting in a box at Ma's place. Underneath that, I'm just taking a plain old paper bag. I'm not even going to try to glue it all the way, because I want it to like stick up a little bit, because it's going to maybe poke out, but you never know. By the time we get done gluing everything down, sometimes things just don't even show up because we've covered them all up. Like, see this little gold piece right here? Right there? It just landed there, so I think I'm going to glue it down there. I'm just going to glue it. It wants to be there. It's going to be there. There. There you go. There you go. Okay, now let's go over here and see how we're doing here. Let's hope we made the doily cut in the right place. Let's look. And I think it's going to work. I think this is going to work. It's going to be a little bumpy here. A little bumpy and chunky, but that's okay. I just like I know what I'm doing. Just embellish everything. That's right, embellish everything. I just laughed at myself. It's pretty funny laughing at yourself. It's nice. You're all by yourself down here by myself. And let me see what that looks like. Should I do that? Okay. If you're listening, comment down below. Please. I don't want to be alone doing this. Alright, now I'm going to glue the back of this. I should do some extra because I want Ariel to stay put. So let's do both. Let's do PVA and that. That's what Natasha does. I think I might be tired. Well, what time is it? Oh my goodness. It's 11:35. Yeah, at night. Okay, so let's see what we have so
we'll get
far.
that glued down, and then we'll let that dry. Did I say that already?
Put this aside.
I want to play with my papers again.
And we'll put it up there.
And see what I have here. I'm going to cut these and look at them, make sure I haven't flipped them to the wrong side again, see if I can use any of these little pieces that I've got in my little bucket, and I want to show you something. I made this copy. It's supposed to be pink, peachy pink, but it's purpley pink, and it's the copy machine. And I really need to get a good copy machine, and I need a model number and a type. I keep asking people, and they'll say, oh yeah, I have a Canon, oh yeah, I have an Epson. Well, I need to know, like, the model number, because I would like to, like, maybe do the graphics fairy, but I'm not going to spend money on that if I don't have a good copy machine. They don't tell me, like, what model number it is. If anybody's got any ideas and does the graphics fairy and wants to tell me like what copy machine they have, that'd be awesome. So let's look at these papers. I'm going to measure them. They're 7.5 by 9.5. I usually have to measure twice and cut once, but I end up doing the opposite. Sometimes I measure once and cut twice because I'm really bad about this machine. It's not really a machine, this cutter. I'm still learning it. It's pretty cool once you get going with it, but getting used to it. I do like it though. It really makes nice sharp edges, so I think I'm gonna really like it. Just getting used to it, just like anything, right? Yeah. Nice. Now I'll fold these in half. Use my, tell you about my embellishments. There's my belly band. It's got lavender on the bottom, which is one of Jessica's favorite scents. Jessica's favorite scent. This is my favorite green. I've got a belly band with a paper on the top that I'm going to leave because I kind of like that little thing over there. And I've sewn on the sew machine with most of my pages. I've got a little wrinkle on this page, so I'm trying the pink ink to see if it will pick up with the pink on the other side. But once I try it, I decide it's not the right color. So then I hit it with a little of the brown. That doesn't do much either, but I try it. Makes you think you've done something even if you haven't. So yeah, it's not really brown, it's antique linen, that's what it's called. So that's not even visible on camera, but that's what I was doing. Package. There's my second. Now, because it's tea time. Tea time. Tea time. There we go. When Jessica was, oh, that was it. See, it popped right off. When Jessica was in first grade, she was having trouble with, I was having trouble with the school system because they weren't teaching phonics. And I wanted her to learn phonics because I have one of my other children. I don't want to cover up the 4 because Jessica's number 4 and Brad's number 5. And they were having trouble, so I decided to homeschool Jessica. And so I had a consignment store, and Brad was a baby, so he was like a year, just a little over a year. He was walking, and Jessica was 8 and 7 or 8, and they went to the store with me every day, and Brad took his little nap in the side room, and Jessica did her work, and she babied Brad and pretended that he was her baby, and they gave me such good memories.
So let's see, I'm going to put this charm on this gold string and add it to this cluster in a special way. It's not going to go on the cluster, it's going to hang over the cluster. So let's see how this is going to go. I'm going to use the Aleene's tacky glue. That's like an embellishment bond glue. That's what it says on the bottle anyways. So I'm going to let that dry a bit. Yeah, I'm going to use the Aleene's tacky glue and a brush. Get this done. It works pretty well. I find that it sticks pretty well. It sticks to the top too, but yeah, it takes a couple seconds just to have that glue come off the top, so you can get right in there and then just start gluing away. Sometimes I use the brush, sometimes I don't. I just, glue that on there, and it's going to be plastered with so many things that I think it's going to be fine to not have to take the brush and smear it. Just get in there, and now it's just a matter of, I had a little plan, and then when I put them back in the pile, it kind of turns into a hodgepodge again. And I don't really like that white on there, but we'll see what happens. You just kind of have to keep putting the papers down, and if you stop and think about it, then you end up just wasting creative time. I do want to take some time with this though, because there's words. This is a dictionary, a really old dictionary, and I pulled the baby's name, Ariel, and it has the definition of it, and it says proper names on the top. And so I want to make sure that I don't cover that up when I'm putting my pieces on. This is just dollar store glue that I'm using. I might double glue, but we'll see. And I maybe use the inside of this book to try to keep the glue from the desk. I go from not paying attention to deciding, okay, I'm going to use the glue bound, the book behind the glue, so that I don't glue everything that I don't want to glue. So double gluing just for good measure, because I want this, I don't want to lose this paper later on down the road. So it always takes a little bit of extra time, and then, you know, inking it, as we know, always adds that extra touch that makes it look nice and vintage. So taking the time to do that is necessary. So we keep going, and we just keep working piece by piece, and before we know it, the whole thing will be done. And I'm trying to make sure that I don't go too far into the crease, because this is the cover. So, you know, I want to make sure that I don't lose those words when it gets folded. So that's that. That looks pretty good. Now let's see, what are we going to do next? Maybe a little more ink on the top, because it looks like it's not enough, but that looks good. Let's see what page we're going to put on there next. So let's open up this journal and see what's inside. I have some things over to the side that I have made that I'll probably tuck in the pockets and spots as we go along. I made these separately a few days ago. Just got out my cardboard and manila and just went to town with my sewing machine. Now the outside is not attached. It does have 2 pockets. It's a little notepad, and number 4 is for Jessica, and there's Ariel, her name and what it means, and then the lace. So we will tuck, and that I'll cut that off later. And that's the little charm that's hanging, and we have another little charm, and this is the little pocket here that is a little stiff, so I'll have to find something smaller. There we go. That flips up and you can journal there. And I started journaling here, and there's a few sayings there, sentiments, and this flips out, and the sewing, and the label here is from the Rick Rack. It came with in a 36-yard increment. That's how old it is. And the doily, I sewed on it, but I wouldn't do that again, because that was very tedious and not worth it. Little Women, that's a movie Jessica loved. And this is a saying, a sentiment. When you see a heart, it means mommy loves you. And there's a mermaid tail, because she loved mermaids. And here's another dictionary page from an old dictionary. This has got some little tuck spots in the raspberry staining. I wasn't sure that I liked that, but it was my first time using it. I have a little pocket there, and you know, I tried to tone it down with a little gold and put the tag on the top. This is a pocket, and it's a calendar from November. I got it from my 95-year-old lady that I volunteer for on the weekends, and she was going to throw it away, and I just kept it. The word love speaks for itself. Family. There's Ariel's finished cameo, and it's got the little corners there in tissue, and I just love that. There's a doily under there that came from Ma's stash. Little pocket under there too. And we'll just put something in there just to fill it up as we go along. And we have a paper clip there and a little band here. So I'll again tuck something under there and keep flipping. I have a journaling area there. I might put that in later. I haven't decided yet because it's a little thick. And my pretty sprayed colors, tucks and center. And I use some washi tape there. I like the pictures in the dictionary. Some vellum, and I glued that coffee dyed paper and sewed on it as well. And there's some gold, and there's one of my favorite. This picture here reminds me of Jessica when she was little. She had brown hair and curly curls and brown eyes. And some more tags that I had created using my sewing machine. Ariel Sierra's mommy, because that's her baby's name, Ariel Sierra. And this is a journaling spot for another time. More colors to coordinate with the journal, and some lace on the edges. That's a little nest of gold. Little Women. Tags, more tags. And I'm speeding this up. I'm doing it a different way. I'm not sure if people like to have it sped up, but I've seen a few that they speed up, so I thought I'd give it a try and see if I can get some comments. Positive or constructive criticism is also welcomed. The glare on here is a little strong. I decoupaged this and then I painted it with a glossy finish, glossy Mod Podge. There's some tags and some Little Women ephemera, and I enjoyed tucking that in the other pocket, and a paper clip that I covered in some scrapbook paper. So I tucked this away. I did some gold with that pen around the bird and the flower just to kind of make it come forward. And then when I'm all done, I just use this binding tape and just tie it up. And that's my second journal, and it's Jessica's Rose, and I hope you like it. I'll see you in the next one. This is me trying to get myself going with putting my journal together, or just starting my journal. Once I get it put together, then I kind of take off like a rocket, but it's just getting it going. This is me.